Cheetahs are a vulnerable species. They're what we call Africa's most endangered of all the big cats. There are 23 countries where there are cheetahs. Today there are less than 7,500 cheetahs living in Africa, with the last remaining cheetahs in Iran, where there are about 50 there.
The few cheetahs that are left are very important, not just because they're a beautiful animal, but because they're important to their ecosystems.
Knowing where the cheetahs are living throughout the continent has allowed us to get to know the different countries, governments, policies, their wildlife departments, and have trained and worked very closely with the cheetah range countries.
They're not wealthy countries, the majority, so you have to work with the community. You have to go and build capacity and train, look for alternative livelihoods.
Most of the cheetah range countries, we've actually brought their cheetah scientists, biologists, government employees to the Cheetah Conservation Fund here in Namibia and put them through a variety of different training aspects to help them develop programs in their own countries. People have been just amazed with cheetahs for thousands of years. People found out that cheetahs could be easily tamed. They could be a hunting companion. And yet with that, they've been loved to near extinction. And having wild animals as pets have become kind of a status symbol for the rich and famous.
It's a problem that has been widely ignored, even though the live animal trade is huge. The numbers of cheetahs being smuggled into the Middle East to become pets are about 300 a year unestimated.
The social media plays a really key role. Most people don't realize that it is used for illegal wildlife trade, and live animals are kind of laundered through the social media.
People should be more aware that most of these animals have been taken from the wild. In many cases, the mothers have been killed. Once you take an animal from the wild, especially animals like a cheetah, you're not going to be able to return it. It's as good as dead.
An animal that's been bottle raised and hand raised is very much habituated to people.
They can easily get killed or taken again for the trade.
We're trying to actually help educate the people in the Middle East because the people don't know how to feed them properly. They're not giving them the right exercise. They're not caring for them appropriately.
We're just trying to make sure that these animals are having a better life, considering that they're not where they should be.
The biggest threat facing cheetahs today primarily is loss of habitat. The cheetah is an animal that doesn't do all that well in protected game reserves because of the growing numbers of other large carnivores, which are very competitive to them. So the cheetah gets pushed out of the game reserves and are found on rural livestock farmlands. And so they're in competition with the livestock. And also in many of these areas, there's very limited prey. And one of the things that we found is use of livestock guarding dogs was very valuable. So working with the farmers, working with their livestock management, we've been able to actually reduce conflict with livestock and predators and people for a number of years now. And so it's been very, very successful. And then from that baseline of the whole thing is that cheetahs are a species that lacks genetic diversity.
The cheetah's genetic makeup is so reduced that they are very susceptible to diseases.
Sadly, the future for the cheetah really is not very pleasant. The cheetah's survival really is going to be in humans' hands. What we do need is funding to make sure that the funding can go to the right places so that we have the money to develop the programs, grow our programs, so that we do have a chance for their future survival.